Oh, Merry Christmas, guys. Welcome back.
Merry Christmas, Swain. Merry Christmas, birds.
Happy New Year's.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad. I meant to, but I didn't get you guys anything.
Oh, I totally got you guys both something really cool for sure.
Oh,
Hold on. It looks like my Amazon my Prime ran out, so it'll be there soon.
yeah.
Well, same with mine. It's like there's like a shipment delay because Swain, you're in Philly, and Birds, I haven't driven to your house because my car broke down. So
yeah. Actually, the same thing happened to me.
Really?
That's
wow,
funny.
that sucks. I know how you feel. I know same here.
I know you really wanted that specific thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would tell you what I got you, but I don't want to give the surprise away.
It's a gift, guys. It's a gift. Okay, let's not spoil it.
It's a gift.
Obviously, we'll be opening presents from each other later, but let's get on with the show.
Go.
Welcome back to Crucible Radio, the podcast for all things Destiny PvP. Our first major segment, returning back to our true form, is Bones' MySpace Top 8. Who goes in what slot and where?
Oh, we're back. No, I know, aside from the amazing gifts we got each other, we got some, it's that time of year you give gifts, you receive gifts, sometimes gaming related, sometimes not. But what'd you guys get?
Oh, man.
Oh, I got all sorts of toys. I felt like an 8-year-old on Christmas. It was awesome. I got a new microphone, so I sound probably really beautiful, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And you do sound different.
Silky. I also got...
That's the word.
Watch Dogs 2. I got Dishonored 2. And then my brother got me a Mega Bloks Arcadia class jump ship from Destiny, the first one you get on that first mission. And It's actually really cool. It was pretty fun to build. And it looks weird next to my Poe X-Wing, another similar shaped spacecraft.
Similarly colored.
Same colors and everything. But either way, it's really cool. And I laughed and was very happy to get that gift. And it was pretty fun putting it together. But that was my Christmas.
Nice. So, Wayne, what'd you get?
So I had a little bit of a story here. So I have quite an expanded family now. You marry into another family, you gain like 10 other people who also have I have a nephew now, and also like my family's a little bit spread out too. So I always spend the weeks leading up to Christmas like stressing out about buying all these presents, and I'm like, oh, like Christmas is the worst. You just gotta put all this work in, and then I finally realized like, oh, I might get some presents too. But it takes up until like the last week before I realize like, hey, this is like, it's kind of like a reciprocal thing for most cases. But I got some cool stuff. The missus got me a PS4 Pro.
Nice.
Yeah. She's
you got to tell me once you get that set up if it's worth it.
Yeah.
How much does it improve your KD? That's what I want to know.
Very much so. But it's mostly because she wants to play The Witcher on the other TV, so like it helps that my old PlayStation will go to her. So it's a dual gift. And then I got some other things. I got Titanfall 2 and a monitor, like a small monitor to complete my stream setup. But other than that, it's just like Legos and snacks and stuff.
Just Legos and snacks.
Yeah,
the dream. Birdsy, what'd you get?
All right. Well, I do enjoy buying gifts for people, but this year we kind of tried to focus on me getting her stuff. She'll get me stuff, and I don't need people be buying me fancy toys and all that, but people buy me stuff anyways. And God, am I glad they did. I got a boomerang.
Okay.
It is surprisingly difficult to find a place. Actually, it is entirely as difficult as you expect it to be to find a place to throw a boomerang in Los Angeles without killing somebody, hitting a little kid, or having a dog catch it and run away with it. But I'm figuring it out. I got a mortadella. Swain, you know what this is.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically like a giant classy bologna. Yep, I don't have like a meat slicer, but this thing is delicious.
Another thing that you can throw and a dog will catch it and run away with it.
Yep, or can kill a kid with. This thing's like 10 pounds.
Yeah, don't throw your mortadella expecting it to come back.
Yeah, right. So don't have the technique down there yet. And then some events. We got Mrs. got me tickets to go see Dr. Katz live, which is proof that I'm old. And she got tickets. I don't even know how she did this. She got tickets to Book of Mormon, which
nice.
is coming to town, I guess. And then I also got not quite sure what it is. It's like you go to this ranch and you put on cowboy boots. They've got boots. And then you ride around on horses. And then when you're done riding on horses, you come back and you eat barbecue and they teach you how to line dance.
Nice.
It's like low rent Westworld class.
I totally forgot that my dad also got me that indoor skydiving thing where they like,
Oh,
What?
yeah. So,
bro.
Like the wind tunnel thing?
So much
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. So we're going to go do that. I'm pretty sure Kelly's like terrified to do it, but she's doing it.
You'll be great. You'll be great. You'll be zooming around and they'll do their tricks and they seem like crazy.
I'm going to totally
people.
do a flip.
Do a flip.
Do a flip, man. Do a flip.
They do this
Like
thing
right
where like you give them the thumbs up and then they turn the fan on really high and you go all the way up to the very top of it, like up 20 feet.
Kelly's gonna
and then
throw
they
up.
turn it back down and you just like not free fall, but like go whoop. And I don't know how they do it, but you stop like 12 inches above the ground and then it lifts you
boy.
back up to 3-4 feet. It's a blast.
Kelly,
And
they totally
like,
don't do that, Kelly, if you're listening.
They've got like teams of like super athletic 20-year-olds to just like prevent you from smacking into walls in there. You'll be fine. What are we talking about?
We're talking
or
about
Crucible
Christmas
Radio?
presents. And
Okay. Crucible Radio, show for all things Destiny PvP. Right, got it. Okay.
The show for all things Destiny Christmas presents.
I was the only one to get a Destiny themed Christmas present, so that doesn't even work. Anyways,
True.
All right, so what? You guys play any Destiny this week? What have you been up to?
Oh, man.
I'm playing a little bit. I got 2 new video games, which I got to play too, but I find myself grinding Nightfalls like some crazy person, even though I have 2 brand new video games sitting on my
Sounds
desk.
like someone wants an icebreaker.
Sounds like your boy got an icebreaker. So
Ooh.
Whew.
done with Nightfalls again forever.
Good.
I also have been doing that, but mostly SRL. I've been booting around all those different planets, kind of going for my best times. It's so relaxing, and it's the quickest way to get loot right now. Like, there's no pressure. You could just sit at the back and just like, sightsee your way to the finish, and you still have a possible like awesome loot drop. And over this event, I've gone from like 390 light to 399. I'm almost at 400. I think I'm like an artifact away, but
Nice.
it's done what it did before, where it like enabled you to get real good loot real quick. And especially with the addition of Ice Luna and Party Crasher back into the loot tables, it's so nice and so easy. I got another really great Party Crasher, mixed 2 of them for me, and still hoping for another Ice Luna, even though I love the one I already have. So get in there and just coast your way to easy loot.
I actually did stop and take some screenshots of Hack on Precipice for a race and just totally sacrificed my score. And I was like, this is so cool, because if you stay way behind, the fireworks go off when someone finishes. So you can be way up on the mountain in the back and take some screenshots of the fireworks and stuff. And it is awesome. So I did that and I had fun. I like that there's an activity where I can just sort of watch Netflix and do a race every 5 minutes and not have to pay attention too hard or worry about my KD in the process. It's been very appreciated to just have a little break.
And it's technically PvP if you're feeling competitive.
It is.
Oh, and I definitely get competitive about it.
Winning is nice. Winning races feels good.
Bones absolutely hates the random elements to SRL. Like if it was up to him, it would just be a completely blank track, kind of like if you took the Sonic 3D tracks and just like made them. But
I just don't want to get bumped ever.
He doesn't want to get bumped, and then he also
frustrating
gets
thing
shot
ever.
by a devil walker, and then he rage quits so he can
Okay.
upload it to Twitter.
You have to admit that was the most ridiculous clip anyone's ever seen in SRL. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my Twitter.
Man, how many devil walkers have you destroyed in your life? It's fair play that one of them, one race, one chance, one shot, make it count.
There's an Eminem
Get
going
Bonesy
after you in a devil walker.
That devil walker was listening to One Opportunity. Yeah, it wrecked me pretty good, and that was pretty funny, but made me mad at the time. But speaking of playing some SRL and competing a little bit, we've been using SRL to have a pretty good time with our patrons over on the Patreon page, and we had an SRL night a couple weekends ago on Friday night, and I think that was like the most fun I've had in SRL thus far. I don't know if you guys agree.
Nothing like loading in with like a fire team of 6 with the coordinated outfits, with Swain rocking that stupid Raid Sparrow that just like allows
exploding
him
me all the time.
Yeah, I tried the Raid Sparrow. I've exploded too many times. I'm fine. I'll just lose. It's no big deal. Yeah, no, just a blast and great fun just getting to meet our patrons. If you're not familiar, you can go to patreon.com/Crucible Radio, shameless plugs, and take a look. We've got a lot of different offer levels there, but a big part of it is just playing with our viewers a couple times a month, get some exclusive access. But we've got something new. I'm really excited to announce this, boys. We have got, as soon as they make their way out of the main playlist and into private matches, and we can put together custom SRL games, Kells Angels Racing League is coming. It's going to be a competitive Sparrow event for our Patreon supporters. We're going to have some great prizes, bragging rights. You can come race with us. You probably beat me. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We haven't quite picked a time. It's probably going to be end of January. So if you're interested, go ahead, check it out. It's patreon.com/Crucible Radio. It's available to all of our supporters, and we're going to have a good time. So stay tuned. More coming.
And the winners are going to have some nice little rewards soon to be revealed. But yes, okay, boys. All right, so it's episode 80. Ooh. That's crazy. That's a lot of episodes.
Yep, it is.
It's almost 100. It's more than a year's worth. What are we at? About a year and a half now? More than that? Wow.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And it's also the end of 2016, the calendar year. So there's been a year of podcasting. And we thought that this week we could talk about the past year of this show, of Destiny, the game, of our experience in Destiny and the Crucible, more specifically, and just sort of look back on the year 2016 in Destiny. Mostly year 2, good chunk of year 3 happened within that little range, and a lot happened in Destiny, which is kind of overwhelming to think about. A lot has happened in Destiny in 2.5 years. It's really weird. I was just talking to Fallout, and he had to I needed to remind him when Thorn was most powerful and what it was like at a certain point, because that part of Destiny had been blurred to him. And I was like, well, Destiny Trials Report just tweeted out the statistics from the first year of Trials after tweeting out some of the most recent weekend. And the first weekend of Trials from House of Wolves back in May of 2015.
Right before the first podcast.
Or June, yeah. Thorn had 19 million kills or something like that. The Last Word had 6 million.
Vex Mythoclast was in there.
Yeah, that was the second most popular gun, which was wild. And I had to remind Fallout, he's like, yeah, remember when we had didn't have legendary marks, we had Crucible marks and Vanguard marks. And if you wanted to buy anything from your Vanguard person, you just had to do strikes for like hours. I don't even know how you got those. And all of that stuff was so weird. And there was like 3 types of armor parts, which is the most insane thing, that we didn't just have one kind of armor part. We had like 3, like it's sapphire wire. So you just had to grind strikes on your hunter and get stuff if you ever wanted to level up armor. It's ridiculous.
Well, not only that, like you needed planetary materials too. So you would have to go to the planet like some kind of chump.
Like some kind
checking
of
caves.
No Man's Sky
Minecraft?
bullshit where you got to go pick it up.
The Ember Caves on Venus. I know that loop all too well.
Oh
yeah.
Seriously.
We could
Pause.
probably do that loop easy right now if we wanted to. Not that I want to.
Man, I miss those loops. Gonna have to break them out and do some farming. Definitely will never set foot on the Dreadnought again. Will not miss the Dreadnought.
I think we did talk about our favorite quality of life updates that came with the Dawning, and Wormspore was definitely at the top. But I think we could do that for another 5 weeks and it would still be appreciated. Just, yes, thank you. I can buy Wormspore.
Yeah, and on top of all of those things, I think the general theme for the past year from Bungie was quality of life. They put a lot of things into this game that makes it like so different from year one. Like if you look back to the game that we started with, it looks nothing like what it looks like today. And I think one of the biggest ones was the addition of private matches, guys. Private matches was like everything it was the big thing. It was the big thing that everyone was asking for. And it was the loudest thing for sure. Every single time they would get on stream, it'd be like, private matches? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Like just completely wanting this one feature. And they were able to put it in, albeit like, it has its limitations, but it is still private matches. So how are you guys enjoying them? Like since it's been added?
Well, the first thing I said after they dropped and we had a night to mess around with them because it came out a week before Rise of Iron, right? So we had a little time to actually get in there and play some games. And we did Rift on Rusted Lands, which was insane in the little suicide tunnel. We did 4v4 elimination, which was so much fun on both a serious and just funny level. I actually really like that game mode. But afterwards, I was like, this feels like it's already been here. Like this is how it always should have been and always how it always was. And it just felt like that's something we had done forever, which was the best part of it because it felt so natural. And it didn't feel like, oh, I'm going to play this for 2 weeks and then, use up all that content and then go back to wondering when the next expansion comes out. It was something that was just there and felt great to have. And, if it isn't the most major part about my Crucible experience, if I still want those drops and still hunting that Ias Luna so I play normal stuff, it's still really, really useful to have those things there to drop in and do a little 1v1 with a buddy to show him what I'm thinking for this weekend and trials, to test stuff out, to shoot walls with what gun did we test? Kvostov for like an hour, just figuring out all those setups,
Still not
all those different
right,
options. I know we're not, but just like the fact that they're there, it's so nice. It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to drop into those maps and go like, oh yeah, this is a location I can go to whenever I want.
I think I've started to appreciate just how valuable it is to have private matches. I remember I was watching, I think I talked about this, but I was watching Crucible Boot Camp, a Twitch show by our boy Keen Koala. And he spent like 20 minutes running around a map by himself in a private match, talking about all the different positions and all the different angles. And I thought, oh my God. And I went in, I loaded into Burning Shrine. I set it to a private, no one else, just me, 30-minute rumble. And I spent all 30 minutes in Burning Shrine just going, all right, if I'm using, the spike grenade wombo and I'm standing here, if I'm standing on right side doors, I can throw it against this back wall, smoke here, and that's the wombo. Or if I'm trying to make it across the bridge, I have to move this far, and then this angle is totally closed off. Or if I run through here, I'm going to be exposed this side, so I'm going to shade step here. And this is not something I do every day, far from it. Usually I just want to load in and play some Crucible. But the ability to say, all right, I'm going to try and improve tonight. I'm going to get better. And I'm going to just warm up by spending 5 or 10 minutes without worrying about gun skill, without worrying about, where I am on the leaderboard. Just say, let me get in that mindset where I'm thinking tactically and strategically and thinking about the whole map and as I'm running around. And it's just opened my eyes. And I was playing Titanfall 2 and I loaded into a private to work on my mobility. And I thought, how did I exist without the ability to do these things before? To just like have to, I remember people would try and like build maps, like visual maps of the maps, and they do it by waiting for it to come up in the rotation and then just like taking screenshots, trying to get people to leave them alone and standing in a corner and trying to take a picture and hoping they don't get shot. Like, how did we live without this thing before?
Or just making the Rise Up video with Greeny and the rest of the guys going into Rumble or, doing the Eval 3 thing, going into a Rumble game and then having 10 or 12 minutes to figure out the shot we wanted to make and saving up supers and setting up that shot and maybe trying it once and then finally getting it together and be okay, run it. And we have like 30 seconds left in the match before we can get this shot. And not that that's like a thing. It's like, Bungie, let me film goofy things in the Crucible. But just, it's so funny to think that we had to do that. And now you can go make whatever you want. I mean, look at like the Husky Raid guys doing those videos. I mean, the stuff they were capable of is incredible, and it's so convenient for them for the fun side of our community.
So I saw one of the best uses of private matches the other day from our good friend Dr. Lupo. This is not like what you did, but you were talking about, Bones, or you're talking about Birds. He was doing a game of cat and mouse, and he was doing 1v6 elimination.
Oh boy.
And he was the cat. So he was at 400 light and all of the mice were at 200. So he could technically body shot anyone with a sniper, and he was just running around knocking down 6 people at a time. And I think he had them turn their HUDs off so they couldn't see which was him. So like you would hear them doing the call outs in the background and like, I think he's over here. Oh no, he just got me. Like, it was just like, it was so entertaining to watch, like this like fun thing, totally silly, totally not like working on fundamentals or anything, but it was just like almost like a mini game inside of Destiny that was really entertaining to watch.
Birds, do you remember the game we did of we came up with Sluggernaut during
I've been trying to forget it, man. Just getting savaged. And I think we got up to 1v4 and you still pulled it out. We did something similar on stream, and you had your light cranked all the way up, and just like landing a headshot with a sniper, and you're just like, all right, better land another one, and then getting bodied.
It was so funny when you figured it out halfway through the game, or like that you told your teammates who then figured it out as well. But it was 1v4 and it was Clash. So basically to win against one person, you have to kill them, before they get a kill in each life. So if I get a kill and then I die, and then I get a kill and then I die, you'll never get more points than me. So I was going off a little bit and I had a couple double kills and I was like, okay, I'm giving myself a nice comfy 400 point lead. And then Bird goes like, all we have to do is kill him once every life. And I was like, no. So then it got real tight and I won in like the last 20 seconds because someone just skated by a door and I got a body shot with a sniper and then just ran and hid for the last 10 seconds. But yeah, it's so much fun. The
best use, hands down, at least for me, has been 30-minute rumbles. That is still my favorite, and I will continue to
dream come true.
Play that with friends because 30-minute rumbles are the best. So like it can have so many different swings in it. Like one person's on top for a little while, and then heavy happens or super start to happen, and it's totally in the other direction, and someone catches up. Real fun. What else, guys? What would you say is your gun of the year?
Gun of the year.
Yeah, can we talk about guns for a second? Because I'm just like thinking back when I first started playing Destiny and I rocked my Badger CCL for way too long. And then just like all the phases, my Last Word phase, my Thorn phase, my Hawksaw and PDX phase, the Mida phase. The Mida was an extended phase. My whole hand cannon, legendary hand cannon, Plan C, and fusion rifle phase, which took forever to get to and then took forever to get out of. Coming back to shotguns, all the diversions and the snipers. Remember when we were all using Doctrine of Passion?
Oh, yeah.
Because that was... Wait,
close them down. That was this year.
I don't even know what it's called anymore. Is it Doctor? What? Like
Doctrine of Passing is the
Doctor
actual name.
Of Passion. Got it. Okay. Like they've talked about the idea of like seasons for weapons, which intentional or not, there's always going to be something on top, and just all the sort of phases of we've gone through together as a group of the millions of people who play Destiny, and all of the different guns that I've fallen in love with.
It's definitely nice to have that variety and have been able to use different archetypes, get used to different types of guns. Like that was like, I never like starting off. I was like, I'm not really a hand cannon type of guy. But like once the meta started shifting that way, and I started to see the effectiveness, I was like, all right, let me give it a try. And I got to experience that just like everyone else. I would say gun of 2016 for me is the Plan C.
Mm-hmm.
I love it
Typical.
so much. It's so good.
Mr. Voop himself.
So good. Love it.
Yeah.
And gonna continue to use it. As long as they keep it updated, it'll be on my side.
That's really tough because
that's a good question.
It's funny because I'm all about new stuff. I love dismantling probably too quickly, but there's a few guns that I've definitely hung out for a very long time. My Not Like the Others was from the beginning of year 2, which is 2015 still. I love the Quest 1,000-Yard Stare with Last Resort and Firefly. Still have that leveled up. Definitely some longbows. I think the gun of the year might be Ias Luna, and I just say that generally as Ias Luna.
Pick someone else. I wanted to talk about my Ias Luna.
It's just a good hand cannon, and it makes me like I don't know. It's hard to describe, but it feels like that high level of Destiny. Like that's what playing Destiny is at the highest level, regardless of what you think about that. But it's just it's a cool gun. I do love that Blind Perdition came into my life when it did, because that was a cool gun to have. It became sort of just a run-of-the-mill pulse rifle, because there's so many good options of pulse rifles and they're very strong, but I just like that it was there. And to have new and old in my loadout, to have my Party Crasher that I've had since forever, since I was so happy that dropped for me with performance bonus and rangefinder and the good setup like that, and then have a new gun that I just got from Trials with all the new stuff. I loved having those loadouts of just the new and old, which is probably why I'm using an icebreaker now that I just got it, even though it's not good and I keep trying to force it to be good and it's not. But those ornaments, though.
I do remember being in your stream when you hit that stupid icebreaker shot on, is it Twilight Gap?
Twilight Gap, where I just floated into the sky and pointed somewhere and
it killed someone. I don't know. It was the most. That was the jump shot of 2016 for me.
That was pretty stupid. I think that one, and also I got to give credit again to Maniac Creek, who's the guy who was like, you should try out Icebreaker. And I was like, that old thing? Why? And I put it on, and I just, it's in one of the montages or whatever, but I just started hip firing and just pointing at places and got like a triple kill without really aiming it anywhere. And I was like, my God, this is incredible. And I just, yeah. All right, Birds, you can have Ias Luna. I'll take year 1 form Icebreaker before it got nerfed as my gun of 2016.
Well, here's the thing.
After it.
I think I'm kind of fucked no matter what here, because I think if you looked at total number of hours spent playing Destiny, my number 1 and number 2 guns from the year 2016 would without a doubt be my Outlaw, Icarus, Ias Luna, and Plan C. Like that was my loadout I took all throughout Taken King, into Rise of Iron. I started changing up in Rise of Iron, but that... Sorry to be unoriginal. I think the variation I'm rocking now, which feels real good to me, is again not very imaginative. It is that Vendor Palindrome and Matador 64. And
classic.
All right,
Birds.
you know what?
You know
what? Guess what? Matador 64 is a perfect killing machine. That's why you don't like it, because I use it to kill more people than I should be able to otherwise. It's just like the best thing about it, like that people don't realize, the best thing about Matador 64 is that it's really, really good. Yeah. And I make no apologies for rocking this gun more often than not.
Maybe don't apologize.
Yep. I could talk about some other loves, but I love me a meta. I will say, Bonesy, I know exactly what you're talking about. every time I put on a different primary, I go, okay, this is cool. I can learn to use this. I can work a play style out of this. I did my whole rotating play style thing and learned a lot about myself. But nothing feels more like Destiny to me than a hand cannon with some impact that's good in the air. It works at every range, not every range, but it works at a lot of different ranges.
Hit fire, baby.
Works a lot of different play style. You can come over the top just blasting.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what Destiny 1 feels like to me.
I feel like this past year, for me at least, was defined by something opposite of what you went, Birds. I'm not one to knock the meta. Like I know what it is. I know it's a Matador and I know it's an Ice Luna. But I know I can be good with those things, and I like a challenge. I like to put myself into crappy situations and learn from it really well. And I think that's where fusion rifles played a big part in my 2016. It's because it got me outside of my comfort level and it put me into a place where like I'm every single time I got a kill with one, I felt like I accomplished something that was just hard to do, and not everyone was doing it. So it felt like it felt fun. It felt really good to use it. And for those out there knocking the meta and are upset that they can't use certain guns, you can. You just have to be okay with not winning. And I think that's what's kind of like highlighted by 2016 is that I may not be winning, but I'm probably having the most fun.
See, I have a lot of respect for that, because the truth is that when I think about who Swain is as a Guardian, you have a sense of identity as a Guardian. You're that Titan who's on fire, just vooping people. That I think, one, you're pretty fucking good at it, but also that there's something to be said for choosing something that works well, big picture, and really building a play style out of it, not just putting it on, not just getting some kills with it, but really exploring every inch of it and being able to go up against anything with it. Yeah, respect. That's a cool thing.
Well, that's 2016, and we, as a podcast that wants to improve, wants to get better, wants to constantly change things up, we're looking ahead to 2017. That's that's the next one coming up, and I think I'll start us off here. And off of something we were just talking about. And I started to, at the end of 2016, I started to diversify a little bit so that I can be the person that can be clutch. I can be that person that is available to change at a moment's notice. And I started sniping again. Not full time, but
sure,
enough to keep me warm and familiar with it. Because I was finding that a lot in trials, because honestly the pool is very small compared to when a release drops. The pool of players in trials right now is very intense. It ratchets up very quickly from the very beginning of a ticket where you're playing a couple of, you could be playing a good team, but there's a good chance you're playing a team that's just churning through it, wants to get the weapon, or wants to get the armor. And I found that as soon as it got difficult, my fun play style was not always helping my team out. And I want to be a good team player, so I want to stay warm with sniper rifles in 2017. I want to continue my identity as a Sunbreaker that uses fusion rifles, but I still want to be able to be like, all right, we're having a little bit of difficult time. We're on a difficult ticket. Let me switch to a sniper rifle and still be really good at it. Diversify.
Yeah. I mean,
word.
Back on what Birds is saying about how you do have an identity. I wish I could settle on something for more than like a day. I switch my loadout so often. I use a different setup every game, and like, yeah, it's nice to be able to say, oh yeah, I know how to use this gun. I can switch to whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, I just want to get good at one thing and push past that. So it goes both ways. It's good to know a little bit of everything. It's good to have one thing you feel like is your thing.
Well, Bonesy, looking ahead to 2017, what are you thinking about? Where do you want to grow?
Man, I've been thinking about this all day. about how I could, put it in tangible terms and not just say some big generic, I want to get better. But in some ways, it's also, I just want to get better.
Fair. Fair enough.
But you know what? I think one of the things I learned from 2016, and not learned and say I accomplished that, move on to the next thing. I think it's something that I always have to keep in mind. I learned about burnout and about getting frustrated with stagnancy. Is that a word?
Sure. Why not?
But, the more you play, the more you switch, the more you stop focusing on what you're doing. Before, you no longer review your gameplay. You just play a lot. You want drops. You want to get better. You want to forget the last game and play a better one. You just sort of get into the bad habits again. And then comes burnout, which is you've been playing Destiny too much. You got to switch it up. You got to find something else to do. You need to take a break, or you need to do something different in Destiny. All that sort of happened sort of in the middle of the year. I took a very clear break. I didn't touch Destiny for a little bit, and I used that as a segment on the show, and that was nice. But since then, I realized I can't just go back to playing it every day all the time forever, and I've been much better about that, which is good. So I think I learned, importantly, that burnout is very real. I think it's very real for a lot of people that don't know it. I can see that, and I can feel that in the general atmosphere of Destiny right now, is that a lot of people, when they get frustrated, it's not so much that you haven't got the change you want, or you're not good yet, or whatever. It's just that you have been banging your head against a wall a little too much. So I think it's very real, and it's been so key for me to keep that in perspective as we continue to go deeper into this game that is now 2.5 years old. So that was a good thing about 2016, a good thing I learned.
I think you pointed out went from my portion of our singular episodes that kind of got mixed together because Birds is such a such an awesome guy. No,
I know. Sorry.
No,
sorry.
It's apart from mine. That it's a lesson that I learned from being a chef, is that being angry and showing your anger and throwing things around and being upset about everything doesn't make you look cool. No one thinks
I love that line.
No one thinks like, hey, that guy is so cool because he's so angry and upset about everything. No, that doesn't happen. It's the level-headed people. It's the level-headed team players that really get ahead. And if you are getting to that point where you're just angry and you are upset about it and you start outwardly blaming things, I think it's time to you need to take a break and calm down, because like I said, no one's going to think you're cool for being upset about this game or upset about a meta. So just take a break.
Yeah. And it can manifest in so many different ways, which is why I said I don't think a lot of people realize it. I think we just we get into our daily routines, which sometimes involves Destiny, and sometimes we get to burnout, and it might not just be an outward, I'm angry at this game. It might be something else. It's really hard to approach it for that reason, is because you don't know what it is. But all of that being considered, and then when I say I do want to get better, I think there is a plateau that I'm at right now. And I think that it's no longer me just working it out on my own. I think I'm at a point where I do need to get some real direct
Bones
help.
needs
And it sounds like
help.
it sounds like I'm asking for like real, like, guys, this is my cry for help. No, I just mean like, I need to start like, sparring with people. And I don't know if I really want to start sweating hardcore. I mean, I enjoy sweats, but like, I want to get good at trials. I want to be really good at trials. I want to break into that tier of trials. I need to figure that out. And I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to take more than just this episode for me to decide on what my new routine is. But I would love it if in 2017, I can be the person that wins consistently in trials when there is less people playing, and not just when Rise of Iron comes out. That'd be nice. But, it's a good feeling when you can be consistent in trials and to say, oh, my friend who doesn't go very often, or, I ask lots of people and they're like, oh, I don't like this map. And I'm like, oh, what? Come on, get in here. And just to be able to, give someone else the confidence is what I really want. And I love players who can do that. There's so many guys that do that, and it's not because they're so good and they just, mindlessly kill everyone and carry you to the lighthouse, but it's because that they bring you along and they put you under their shoulder and their wings and they say, let's go. This is fun. Yeah. Come with me. And I want to be able to do that.
I think 2017 needs a little bit of, I'm guessing this, but I think there's a very bright light at the end of the tunnel of 2017. It may be a ways off. It may be.
It's a tiny little light at this point. It's a tiny
you can
little
see it
light
off in the distance, real small right now. But I think it's kind of. I think we need to approach 2017 with some, with bated breath. Like I don't want everyone to expect. This is going to be the Bungie shill in me, but I really don't want people to expect huge changes before Destiny 2. And I've talked about this
definitely not
a bunch of times with all sorts of different people, but I honestly want as much manpower from Bungie going into the perfect version of Destiny 2. And I'm pretty happy with the current game. There's definitely changes that could be made, but I don't want to see huge updates. I don't want to see them putting private match level updates in the game. There's certain things that could be thrown in, but I would much rather see them in the next iteration of Destiny. And we can, it's almost a 3-year-old game. It's going to be tough to keep inserting things into this game and shoehorning them in, and just a little bit of apprehension as to what will happen before that. But just sit tight. I promise it'll probably. Well, I can't promise, but it'll be good. If it's anywhere, I promise
that will be okay. How about that?
It'll be okay.
There you go.
We can promise that we'll all be okay.
If it's on any sort of level of the release of Destiny in the beginning, it'll be okay.
We'll be just fine.
Well, there's another side to that too, which is we just spent, 15 minutes getting all nostalgic about all the different things Destiny has been before it became this game today. And that's the thing is you can't play year one Destiny anymore. It's gone forever. And for all of the issues with it, the sort of rawness of a lot of the aspects of gameplay, people get nostalgic for it. And you can look, have your rose colored glasses looking back. But the truth is that it's a game that is what it is at a point in time of what it can offer and the people who play it. And there's clearly a lot to love. I mean, we're still playing it. When Destiny 2 comes along, whatever that ends up looking like, this game we're playing now is going to maybe not go away, but stop being relevant. The players will move on, or maybe it'll just be a big update and Destiny will go away. I am content to hang out here and enjoy this thing for this last little bit of time that we have it, because once the new hotness comes along, and there will be new hotness, this era of gaming history is over. And that's not a bad thing. But I think also just sort of as I've gotten older, I'm kind of learning to just sort of chill and enjoy these things
for the big picture,
knowing that they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone forever at some point before you know it.
Until the Destiny Master Collection in 15 years.
Yo, they released the PS6 Master Collection with year one Blink, Shotgun, Thorn, Crucible. You just give me one playlist. Just give me one playlist, Anomaly and Rusted Lands, and I can just Thorn everybody. Oh my god,
that's the rose-colored glasses you were just talking about. Is remembering oh yeah, just those aspects I loved. But I think, people have mentioned that all the time, or we've talked about that in party chats of oh man, what if you could download, a version of an old patch and mess with that? That'd be so fun. I'd be I'd play that for 2 hours and then be all right, I'm done. Just I'd play any old game where I'm yay, nostalgia. Oh, I don't actually want to play all 15 levels of this. I'm going to go back to my modern video games. Well, before we talk about a few of our more favorites from 2016 and a few things we're hoping for from ourselves in 2017, we have a little ad read right here. So let's hear a word from our sponsor this week.
Oh, I can personally vouch for our sponsor this week. It's HelloFresh.
HelloFresh.
Hello.
HelloFresh. Yo, I wasn't even expecting it. I just came home one day and there was a big box waiting on my porch, a big freezer box, like just styrofoam box. You pulled up, they've got this thing packed from the future, and inside are 3 perfect meals. It's just the ingredients, but it is exactly the amount and the fresh ingredients with the recipe to make like a real adult level restaurant quality grown up meal. I had pork chops with apple reduction. I had chili, just like straight up homemade Southwest chili. And like I made it once, and that is now a recipe I make all the time. I leveled up. HelloFresh is a meal kit delivery service, and they just make cooking so easy. They remove all the roadblocks, and they let you eat great, healthy, fresh food in your own home. It's kind of fun.
Guys, I have to agree with Birds here. This stuff is so easy. It's so convenient. I'm the worst at buying ingredients at the store. They give you everything right there. It takes 30 minutes and anyone can do it. You don't need to be Swain to cook these meals and to know how it works. They walk you through it. It's really awesome. It's fresh ingredients, exact quantities. You just pour in the amount you need. And it's just perfect. And it's all focused on nutrition and balanced meals. It's really wonderful.
So some of you might know, I am a chef, and
no,
yeah, I very much understand the importance of a wholly cooked meal, like having something nice on your plate. And I think everyone should be able to do it. Having known all the techniques and knowing all the ways, all the food that's out there, is really simple to cook at home as long as you have your mise en place, and that's pretty much what they do for you with HelloFresh. And
what now?
Mise en place, aka all your shit ready to go.
Everything in its place. And the place is on your front step.
Okay, folks, you want to hear us gush about this stuff, or you want to taste it yourself, visit HelloFresh.com and enter Crucible when you subscribe, and you will get $35 off your first week of deliveries. It's going to be yummy. I encourage you to do it.
Do it.
HelloFresh.com, offer code Crucible.
And Birds, you're going to be getting a nice package on your doorstep that you didn't expect from me, because I ordered your Christmas present before this podcast started recording.
Definitely.
So keep an eye out.
Definitely.
Did you get me another mortadella?
I
got you a boomerang mortadella.
Yes.
I got you a sausage boomerang. You throw it and catch it in your mouth.
Wow. Thank you so much. This is a dream come true. All right. So what are we talking about? We're looking to the future. I got this thing that's sort of been rattling around my head, and for me, it kind of came into focus when I just read some comment on the playbook. This guy, Trufus for Eufus, just wrote this little comment, and he said, "I can tell you that watching my kids play other FPS versus them playing Destiny, there's an interesting cap that I've only seen in Destiny. Pure gun skill can get you far, but it can't carry the day consistently at higher levels. The lower time to kill, coupled with the vastly different subclasses and perk trees, can force a scenario where you hit a ceiling pretty hard. The longer engagements take, and Destiny has a very high time to kill regarding primaries, the more room there is for intangible. And that's the reason why dads with shit reaction times can do well. Lots of strategy and decision-making play. If I had my 10 years Twitch skill, I would be unstoppable. Same story with my kid if he had my game sense. And I've been thinking about this, and I noticed it most clearly when I started playing other games, playing Titanfall 2. And just, it's much faster. It's much more sort of Call of Duty and shoot. And I realized, all anyone in this game is doing is just running around really fast on their route shooting people. And that as soon as I started pulling out some of those Destiny tricks, slow playing, creating negative space, backpedaling, baiting corners, baiting grenades, I'm putting up KDs way better than I could do just relying on moving fast and shooting well. And I realized that's kind of what Destiny is doing for me. It's teaching me to think about these things, to be forced to be thinking about these things on a lot of different levels, not just how do I line up the shot, not just how do I run the flank.
Not just playing checkers anymore, playing some chess.
Not just playing checkers anymore. And hey, look, I know I could play Rumble all day, every day, and just like you were saying, Bonesy, I can still just fall flat when it comes to trials, because you have to as you reach those higher levels, or you go to, you start playing sweats or private matches or playing tournaments, it requires more and more learning past just the basics. So while I do enjoy just working on the basics, playing some Crucible and having a good time, I'm starting to become aware of just some of the real value I've gotten out of 2016, learning to not get shook, and I still struggle with it, but learning these maps like the back of my hand, learning how to put myself in the other guy's shoes at the same time that I'm in my shoes, and try and stay in that headspace and try and focus on it. And I tell you, watching Mr. King Koala on Crucible Bootcamp helps. Not a shameless plug. I just like his show. Watching my own gameplay helps. Watching or loading into a private match by myself and just working on routes. These are some of the things that we have available to us now. And I know there's always more I could be doing to take advantage of that. And at the same time, finding ways to push myself to play harder matches and to go up against better competition. Yeah, I don't know.
I've been playing a lot of Overwatch while I have the break time. Not that I haven't been playing Destiny, I just have more free time, so I just fill it with other video games, of course. But Overwatch, fits that to a T, where it's not about gun skill, especially if you use a character that doesn't really shoot a traditional gun. You might just shoot like
icicles,
explosives and stuff and icicles, or you have to fly and shoot rockets and things. And I just love that my sort of positioning and strategy and stuff can really play a part. And I don't feel like I'm just terrible at Overwatch just because I can't aim with McCree that well. And on console, you cannot aim with McCree that well, let me tell you that. But it's so nice that Destiny incorporates both a little bit. It has the fast twitch necessity that Titanfall and Call of Duty you need. You got to be quick with your hands, but at the same time, you can out-strategize someone. It's about those mind games. It's about the shotgun dance. Are you going to go low? Are they going to go high? What are you going to do? How do you call their bluff? That sort of thing is just like the reason that we're still talking about Destiny to this day right now.
Destiny medal, like Crucible medal of 2016 for me is get it off.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was mind games to me. Like getting someone to push through a door and at the perfect moment just throw a grenade at the doorway, and it just like you hear the click and it's like, all right, yeah, I got him.
The Destiny medal of 2016 for me was Phantom, because that means that I was in the right spot at the right time a lot of the times. And it's a good sign of, applying skills.
Where when Sunbreaker was OP.
You stood in one place and threw to every corner of the map.
Oh, I have to say the medal for me, and I think I've only gotten it twice, is Sum of All Tears, where playing Rumble and your score is higher than everyone else's score combined. I was going through a weird rumbly time in my life. But yeah, that was such a validation that, hey, not only can I actually win Rumbles, I can have this thing figured out so well that I can smoke all the competition by an order of magnitude. Helps when you load into a lobby that's only got 5 people playing in it. But hey, I got the medal. I'm taking it. I'm putting it in my pocket and taking it with me.
I don't know if they count because of the game mode, but I don't know. Birds, were you around when I was playing a lot of Inferno Rumble in the Slack chats?
Yeah.
I played 3 games of Inferno Rumble and got 3 Sum of All Tears in a row. And people left the game quickly after that one. But that doesn't count because that's just using a universal remote with no radar. But
can we pour one out for the hidden gem that was the before universal remote and also another shotgun in Inferno Rumble in the weekly playlist?
Yeah.
Just fishing.
Pour one out for Fallout's video that came out the day it got nerfed.
There. You can't win them all, Fallout.
That's like, this is stupid, but like I get nervous when I find some weird thing that I like because I only expect it to get nerfed. And that's a dumb thing to think that like, oh, I'm so good with this. Clearly it deserves a nerf. But like when you do that to Icebreaker and then it happens to Universal Remote, and I had been playing that a lot in Inferno, I'm just like, okay, what's next? What else am I going to love? But that's also a thing I have asked for in the past. I want things to change. And so for every drink we pour out, I'm drinking more myself when I find something fun. But yeah, Oh boy. Oh boy, Universal Remote.
Let's quit reminiscing. Let's take a few questions from some of our Patreons. Our Patreon.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it patrons or Patreons?
It's patrons.
They are patrons on our Patreon.
Ah,
Yes.
fancy. Well, let's take some questions from our patrons.
Okay, first up, we have a question from Peter. He's got a little bit of a combo question. He says, Bungie has said they don't want to just nerf shotguns, but are instead looking for other ways to balance weapons. How do you think they could achieve this? Also, have you ever tried Vegemite? It's an Australian spread, and if you haven't, do try it. Start out with thin spreads. Only
No. Don't start out with thin spreads. It's just like peanut butter or Nutella. Just like take 2 fingers, scoop up a big old thing, and take a big bite. No, it is the most delicious thing. I used to work at a company, and my coworkers there, a lot of them were Australian, and they actually tricked me into eating a whole spoonful of Vegemite. Don't ever do that. It's very strong. But yeah, just like a little piece of toast, a little bit of butter, scrape some Vegemite on top. They gifted me a jar of it that they brought with them from Australia. And I took that jar all up and down the West Coast. I ate Vegemite in 5 different cities, and then flying home out of SFO, they confiscated my Vegemite because they thought it was a liquid. Have you seen Vegemite? It's like like black, like spackle.
It looks like the La Brea tar
pour
pits.
Vegemite. Exactly. No way. But then the woman took it, and I was like, what are you going to do? And she's like, we just throw it out. I was like, no. Okay, listen, lady, go home. Take this. Toast up some toast. A little bit of butter. Scrape some Vegemite on top. Give it to your kids. You have kids? Your kids will love it. And this TSA woman is staring at me like I'm a crazy person. But
speaking of crazy person, you want to answer the question about shotguns?
What was the question about? Oh, shotguns.
We talked a little bit about that before when they did make that announcement of, there's no balance patch yet, but we are looking at shotguns. We know Matador is strong. And I always have to remind folks every time you make a suggestion, it comes hand in hand with another thing that's going to tip the scales. So when someone throws out what sounds like a great idea, or very well could be a great idea, a lot of people have great ideas about what could happen to Destiny, but every great idea has another effect that we don't know about. So we don't want to say, well, this would happen and clearly fix all problems with no side effects. The side effects can be interesting. That's how meta forms. The side effects aren't known. It's not something to fear. But it's just, that's what makes it so tough for us to say, oh, well, you do this. Because we don't know what that, dominoes outwards from there.
I had this conversation this week with Pubin and Sneakerhead on Twitter about how they would love to see primaries get stronger. And that seems to be a pretty universal, feeling as far as like the community of Destiny right now. But no one really thinks about that. Right now, a couple of guns are very strong outside of, your shotguns. The Last Word is pretty strong. You got the IS Luna, the Mida, and those are I think they're in a great place as far as their strengths, but could you imagine them stronger? They have been stronger. Like the Last Word used to be like beastly in year 1. And I can't imagine a place right now where I want those guns stronger, simply because that's all you would see. And if you make hand cannons like across the board stronger, that's going to affect all of the hand cannons, and you're going to end up with this like another a lopsided meta where you have, it's just hand cannons, and you're back to like, all right, well, now I have to only use the Last Word because I don't want to put myself at a disadvantage here. And the other part of that conversation was the bloom on hand cannons. We all remember the conversation about ghost bolts and all that, but bloom, they were like, oh, well, just adjust bloom and make it so that if I shoot my gun and I am on target, it hits. And no one thinks about the fact that if you are on target and really far away and you hit, you're going to affect that other person, like whether it be flinch, whether it be just like they're maybe they have 1 HP and you hit them from so far away with a hand cannon for 1 damage. Like, I would be so mad. I would be so mad if I got killed by that.
I'm telling you, I'm going to start sniping y'all with my IS Luna. You're going to be real mad.
But then that throws a whole wrench into like into, all of a sudden scout rifles are being flinched out of their shots by accurate hand cannon users. So I think the solution is way more complex than just, hey, buff primaries. It's like,
yeah. I think our takeaway from the shotgun thing too, when they made that announcement, was to not mess with something that's been messed with so much. At least that's my want, if we're just talking about our wants and not necessarily our ideas for what could be perfect. But like, shotguns have been tweaked so much. Just leave them alone. They don't deserve it anymore. They've been messed with up and down. It's going to come from somewhere else. And I'm glad that Bungie has acknowledged that, or at least has acknowledged that as their goal. Leave shotguns alone.
Well, I've got two ideas, and I can't believe I'm actually suggesting balance ideas. Warning, I am not a game designer.
Holy shit.
But I guess there's two things I think about that I feel like when I'm holding a shotgun, I would expect to work against me a bit. One is that, sort of, let's think of a metric, like the percentage of a special ammo crate that you end up getting kills out of. For shotguns, that ratio is pretty good if you're using a good shotgun. You can expect to get anywhere from like 50 to 100% of your special ammo crate is actually going to result in a kill if you're in the right range. I would like to see a little tweak to fusions and snipers. I don't really know. I guess the only thing I would say is I wish fusions, there were just like a couple more 4-bolt fusions, or the 5-bolt fusions were a little bit tighter grouping, or just something to, because my time with fusion so much is spent like leaving people absolute and then getting shotgunned. Yeah. The other thing is that I would be interested to see some of the area of control grenades, like God, I don't know the names of any grenades. The Night Stalker one that's a big angry ball on the ground, and then the thermal one that's a big angry ball on the ground, and the smoke.
And the pulse grenade and the solar grenade? Yep. Solar flare grenade?
Sounds plausible. Knows? I would like to see those. Who knows, because no one uses them?
Yeah, that's the note. If you don't know the word for it, buff it.
Like, see those take on a role of being close quarters defense. So if you're getting pushed by a shotgunner, you can throw one of those on the ground in front of you, and they've got to really risk it all to close in on you. And I do miss on my smokes how they just don't slow people down as much. That wombo's a bit harder to do. Those, I think, are ways that you can make getting kills with every bullet in a shotgun a little more unlikely. Give good players a way to counter it without just, cranking the knob on something else. But I don't know, probably I'd break everything one way.
It'd be pretty cool to use totally different grenades going forward. I love change. Love it. Okay, here's a question that, again, we can't get too deep into our balance suggestions, but Tim asks, I do want to answer this. Tim says, you were put in charge of Bungie's PvP team. What's the first thing you change? The first thing I change is that I go into the room where all of the team leaders are meeting, and I slam both my hands on the desk and I say, we need more time. And I don't explain what that really means. I just yell other phrases like, I'm giving it all she's got. And that's what I do. And I adapt a real crazy mentality for the PvP team leader and just start to hype up everyone on my team.
So, I mean, you see yourself as Scotty from Star Trek
yeah, I just watched the newest Star Trek this weekend, so I've got a little bit of Scotty Montgomery on my brain. Montgomery Scotty, as they call him in that one.
Okay, good answer. Swain, anything you'd want to change? Less time?
I do the same thing, but I just yell, Fax Method class! Make it happen!
Yeah. I would... I don't think this is what the PvP team does. I would go in and make it so you can assign any button to any button on the controller, so I can kill my scuff dependency. That's not what they do. I'm not being helpful.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I would make 30-minute Rumble a dedicated playlist.
Make that like a weekly thing where.
Yeah, it's the Rumble raid.
Yeah, Rumble raid. Oh god.
Do a really big map in a 12-person Rumble.
All right, last question. I have an answer for this one. This is a question from Josiah. He asks, hey guys, I was wondering, over the past year, what did you do to set yourself up mentally before every Crucible match or session of Destiny? And this was actually something that we this is a topic we've discussed with Sports Psych Steve, sort of these kind of grounding exercises to lock you in. We had thrown out some ideas maybe, but now that we've had a couple months to try that on, I'm curious, did anything end up sticking with you guys?
One thing that works, and I don't do it enough, so this is more things that I got to keep doing more of in the coming year, was to just sort of talk about our plan going into a game of Trials, often in reference to the game before, because huge thing that messes me up in Trials and messes up our teams, and Swain knows what I'm talking about, is like you have a good game where you stomp and you laugh about it and you're like, wow, I just went off, or blah, blah, blah. And you have fun, you feel confident. And then you rush into the next one thinking you're going to do the same thing because it was so fast. And then it's a completely different team. Yeah. And they're playing so different, or they're much better, or whatever. But you just totally forgot to reset and approach it like a new thing. So what does help is when we're talking more and we're talking about our plans, like, okay, so reset here. They're sniping. It's a different loadout or whatever. What changes are we knowing? We're going to play it slow. We're going to go back to our fundamentals and stuff. And just those reminders about this is a new game. And I think even if you just say that sentence, new game, guys, new game.
We did this on Shores of Time. And I think that was the most obvious when we did it, Bones, when we were, who was it, Anklet we were playing with? And we were just having a hard time gelling through our first part, our first ticket. And then in that second ticket, all of a sudden something clicked and we were like, we need to be talking the entire time. And I need someone here, probably Bones, to be like the point man. And that reset, like being able to reset myself and say like, I'm not in charge. Bones is. He tells us what we need to do. And we just kind of rotate, talk about where we are. Don't get too caught out. Don't go and do our own thing. And that completely changed that ticket. We breezed through that ticket once we kind of like we got on board.
And it wasn't because I made some sort of strategic mastermind call outs, but it was because we had a focused goal. Because it wasn't like, well, let's just all wander out to a different opening every round like we've been doing for the last hour. It was, okay, here's the play, go. And sometimes it's just a thing where you say, we're going to go to C because last time we went to B, and that's my only logic to it. That's really all you need, but we're all going to do it. We're going to be focused and we're paying more attention, and it helps tremendously. But yeah, it's just that chatter and that decision making beforehand. And that prepares me for a game so much more than getting 2 minutes into it and kind of losing and going, oh crap, I haven't adjusted to anything that's happened so far.
For me, it's been playing in shorter time frames. Getting ready, like that's not like so much a getting ready as I go into the night and I say like, I'm not going to play more than this many hours. Like that's it. Like as soon as I hit that, I'm done. That kind of goes hand in hand with like my streaming and stuff. Cause like I hit a certain point of streaming and I'm like, all right, I could see how long I've been playing. I know that I've been look at the bottom and it says, 3 hours. All right, boom, I'm done. And let's call it a night. That's helped me be able to be like, to avoid the burnout, to avoid feeling like I've played too much that night, and avoid getting angry or getting upset about something. It's really helped me focus on certain aspects of my improvement.
Yeah, one for me, and this is something I try and like make a point of, as soon as I get out of a match, I take my headphones off right away. Unless I'm, playing with other people. But if like the missus is there, take my headphones off. I stand up, I stretch out, I sit back down. But I think one of like, okay, I'm loading in, it's happening, we're getting ready to go. The thing that I've done that has really helped is balancing out the left and right hand sides of my body, which means putting both of my feet flat on the ground. Like I sit with one leg tucked under me all day, every day, working an office job. And just to sort of like get your feet flat on the ground, take a breath, not be tilted to one side or holding my controller weird, but just sort of get into a nice symmetrical starting position, loosening my grip on the controller a little bit, taking a deep breath, making sure I'm not still carrying, like some tension from the last match or whatever. That's a big one. And I'm starting to appreciate, like I used to be so annoyed by the gap between matches, how you have to sort of wait and then you're flying and just, I don't even know what they're doing that whole time where your ship is flying. You might be on the same planet. You're just sitting there waiting. that you might be, 3 minutes between matches or more. I've really started to appreciate it because it's given me time to kind of, like you say, like not burn out, not get too locked in, sort of, reset each match.
Yeah, I definitely have a ready position where I can sit leaning back, feet up on the desk, just grinding out some SRL. And then there's go time trials, lean forward, hands on the controller and my elbows on my knees, like
elbows on knees,
ready to go. That's definitely a sign that I'm trying to win.
Maybe I should get like a gaming chair. You guys have both got them. Bones, your chair looks pretty comfortable. Swain, I got
an all right desk chair. It works.
I've just got like the like chair from our comforter set.
You've got a gaming recliner.
Pretty much.
Either way, maybe I should find something a little more ergonomic. Yeah, we'll see.
I find playing in a chair so much better than sitting on the couch because I ended up leaning out of the couch when I played on my TV downstairs. It was just awful. So uncomfortable. But it was nice to just like lay down in between games, I guess. Well, thank you to our patrons for those questions. Guys, we've been talking about it a lot on the show, but we are so thankful for the support. We want to give a special shout out to Brent, a.k.a. Raul Dookie is his PSN. Love it. I love finding out people's PSNs. It cracks me up. But he is our second $50 patron. He's got a t-shirt coming out his way. Man, thank you for the support. Thank you so much. It's awesome. And it's great to just be, planning out all these big ideas that we've had. The lab has been busy. The Crucible Radio Laboratory has been going crazy. We've got a team of people working on new ideas like this tournament, but much, much more. YouTube content, everything.
Big stuff.
It's really going. 2017 is shaping up to be a pretty big year for old CR.
The old CR.
The old CR.
I do sometimes wish our acronym was a little better. CR is easy to say, but it's not fun or
rad.
cool.
How we
We're
doing?
rad. We're rad dudes.
C-rad. What are you, T-Racer? Well, guys, are we ready for 2017?
Yeah. Just like I think your presence should be there sometime at the very beginning of 2017. We're recording this. Yeah. I think that's. Well, I got to look up the tracker. You want to give the postal workers a little bit of a break after Christmas. They've been delivering so much. We kind of
that's that's the reason we waited so long to send gifts to each other.
Yeah. Like, I feel really bad about the delivery people. I used to be a bike messenger. I know how it is.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I used to work in retail, so I'm always nice on Black Friday by not shopping anymore.
I don't even leave my house.
Yeah, it turns out the internet still works on Black Friday. So
most people don't know that, apparently.
Yeah, true fact. Believe it or not,
it's the one day of the year I have to go to the store. Let's go,
everybody, all at once. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening once again this week. Check out all of our things. You can find them all at crucibleradio.com. Merch, Patreon stuff. Call outs, all that.
Join the Slack.
Slack, yeah, doing it. The Slack is turning 1 year old on January 17.
Woo!
Yeah, this month.
This month coming up.
Just wild.
1 year old.
That's crazy.
And we're like 3,500 people or something like that. So
yeah,
come join.
Come talk about
come talk.
Titanfall with birds.
Sick bants.
Come talk about tattoos. What else is going on in there lately? What's the big Slack trend at the moment?
I've been trying to get as many people into fitness as possible. Let's get.
We've got a
together.
fashion channel for the Guardian looks. Like if you're just like really digging your shader armor combo, someone will tell you look great.
Well,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, find that all and more. Crucibleradio.com.
Before you go, I did have a question for our audience members. If you are a video editor, you can collect footage, you can assemble videos together, you want to work with us to produce weekly content, we're looking for someone with some chops. If you're interested, send an email to crucibleradio@gmail.com and we can talk next steps. Help us make some videos.
Bye, guys. We love you.
We love you.
See ya.
Happy 2017.
69 is the sex number. Ooh.
this week. They're back again. It's Pagan. Check them out. It's paganband.bandcamp.com.